All right, guys, I'm going to read this to you and try and keep my camera as straight as I can. Rocks are all around us. Have you ever wondered where all these rocks come from? What are rocks made of? Here's your chance to become a rock star and discover the wonderful world of rocks. Scientists who study rocks are called geologists. Most geologists believe that the first rocks here on Earth formed more than 4.5 billion years ago. Geologists think that in the beginning, our Earth started as a big ball of super hot dust and gas. As the planet cooled, the gas turned into a liquid called magma. Later, the magma cooled to make solid rocks. As the Earth cooled, the heaviest rocks sank to the center of the planet to make the core. The lightest rocks floated to the surface to make the crust. Between the core and the crust is the mantle. The building blocks of rocks. Almost all rocks are made of tiny building blocks called minerals. Most minerals have their own special shape called a crystal. Some rocks are made from only one type of mineral, while the others have many different minerals joined together. Geologists have discovered more than 2,500 different minerals on our planet. Each mineral has its own special properties. A property is something that scientists use to describe an object. Some mineral properties include the shape of the crystal, its color, how hard it is, and how it shines. Some minerals are used to make jewelry and for decorations. These special minerals are called gems. How rocks are used. Over time, people discovered that rocks could be used for many different purposes. Thousands of years ago, people used rocks to make tools such as arrowheads and scrapers. In the past, rocks were also used for making great buildings. The pyramids in Egypt are made from rock. The ancient Greeks and Romans also built with rock. People are still using rocks in buildings. Is any part of your home made from rocks? And this is the Notre Dame Cathedral in France. You have Stonehenge in England and the Pantheon in Italy. How rocks form. Minerals don't just magically come together to make rocks. Rocks can only form when the conditions are right. After many years of studying different rocks, geologists discovered that rocks form in three main ways. Geologists use the way a rock forms to put it into one of three different groups or types. The three main types of rocks are igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary. Igneous rocks. Igneous rocks form as hot liquid rock called magma cools off. If the magma cools slowly, the rocks often form large crystals. If the magma cools quickly, crystals usually do not form. How fast the magma cools usually depends on whether the igneous rocks form deep underground or at the Earth's surface. When hot magma cools underground, it usually does so slowly. Igneous rocks that form inside the Earth often have large crystals. Granite and gabbro are two types of igneous rocks that form underground. When hot magma reaches the surface of the Earth, geologists call it lava. Unlike magma inside the Earth, lava cools quickly, so large crystals don't form. As the lava cools, it makes hills and mountains called volcanoes. These form on the surface of the Earth and can also form underwater. The most common rock in the world is called basalt, and it forms from lava. Basalt is the type of rock that makes up most of the Earth's crust under the ocean. Metamorphic rocks. A second type of rock is called metamorphic rock. Metamorphic rocks are rocks that have changed their form. Metamorphic rocks usually form deep inside the Earth where they get heated and squeezed by the rocks around them. Sometimes metamorphic rocks have their minerals squeezed so much that they look like they came out of a tube of toothpaste. The minerals in some metamorphic rocks look like they have flowed. They never turn back into liquid though. Instead, they stretch and bend like warm clay. Two common metamorphic rocks are gneiss and schist. Geologists have discovered that the crust of the Earth is not one solid piece. Instead, it is made up of separate chunks called tectonic plates. These tectonic plates move slowly. When tectonic plates move, they squeeze the rocks around them. When rocks get caught between the tectonic plates, they get squeezed and pushed high in the air. This is how many of the largest mountains on Earth form. Often you can see big bends called folds in the rocks that make up these mountains. Metamorphic rocks usually form underneath these tall mountains where the squeezing and heating is the greatest. Sedimentary rocks. The third major type of rock is called sedimentary rocks. Sediment is another name for tiny pieces of rock that have broken off from larger rocks. Sand, grain, pebbles, and mud are all different sizes of sediment. Sediment is created when wind, water, and ice wear down the rocks at the surface of the earth. Sediment is carried by rivers and streams to lakes and oceans where it begins to collect. Over time, the sediment piles up deeper and deeper. Layers at the bottom of the pile slowly get turned into solid rock again. Not all sedimentary rocks have grains in them. Some form from crystals that grow in water. As water flows over rocks, some of the minerals seem to disappear. Scientists say that the minerals dissolve. When the water with the dissolved minerals begins to dry up or evaporate, new mineral crystals begin to form in it. Sedimentary rocks that form this way are called evaporites. Grains and crystals aren't the only things you can find in sedimentary rock. Sometimes you can find prints of leaves, seashells, or even dinosaur bones. When living things die, they get buried in sediment. If the conditions are right, they will turn to stone along with the sediment and make a fossil. The rock cycle. Rocks on our Earth are always changing. In some places, wind and water wear rocks away. In other places, lava from volcanoes brings new rocks to the Earth's surface. Over millions of years, the minerals that make up old rocks get recycled into new rocks of different types. Geologists call this the rock cycle. Rocks are all around us. They form in different ways, and they have many uses. The minerals that make up rocks have many different properties, and you can use these properties to help tell them apart. The next time you pick up a rock, look at it closely. It might have been part of an ancient volcano, or it may have some cool crystals in it. It might even contain a fossil from a creature that has been extinct for millions of years. By learning to read the rocks, you too can work like geologists, the rock stars of the science world.